Mm-hmm. Barney's home. Howdy doody. Good morning. Today's day starts with a little story time all surrounding this truck and trailer right here. Hidden away in the corner, and for good reason. A little cold start here. Oh yeah. It's all in the batteries with this one. As long as it cranks over quick, she'll start immediately. Okay, so we are obviously tucked way back in the weeds here. And the reason for that is I got a interesting call back from the guy that I sold my gray 14,000 pound equipment trailer to. If you remember that, obviously it's been a staple on the channel for a little bit. Anyway, now that we're on the road here, I sold my gray trailer, which I was not really expecting to. If you remember, I bought this black one back here. This is a long-winded story, so I'm going to cut it here and put the story at the end of the video. For those of you that are interested in hearing about it, you can either skip ahead and come back and continue watching, or you can just wait till the end of the video. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's go pick up this excavator. Here she is, looking awfully pretty, that purple and teal. Yeah, not the best color combo, but that's okay. We're not after color. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Looks like it had a respray at some point. Some balun twine for a battery tie down. Hydraulic hoses look to be in decent shape. Yeah, right. Look at the bubble sitting at the end of that hose. Yeah, all in all, relatively clean. Obviously, seats beat up with it being an open cab here, just like a canopy. But I'm not gonna do too much yapping here. I'd like to get on the road, so we're gonna fire this thing up. We'll fire it up and get it on the trailer, that way I can get home. That KOMATSU key's already in it, so I don't need my keys. 2,800 hours. Fuel is absolutely on E. That's great. No. I'm thinking it's just out of fuel. I'm thinking we're out of fuel. See how that does. This is obviously pretty much all that this trailer and truck can handle. Usually I flip the boom around the other side and throw my blade in the front, but weight distribution wise I don't think that's going to work out, so we'll see how it runs like this. We'll configure it differently if we have to. Alright, looking like I just got done with Ash Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
trip went okay. Let's get this thing unloaded. Trailer definitely felt it. Truck definitely felt it. But that was a 2-hour trip. I kind of just hung around 60, 65, and she did just fine. So I'm going to drop the ramps here, get it unchained, and get around the back of my house. We'll take you through what the first project is going to be. But first, I got to get this thing unloaded. Something with the wiring in my truck, if you put it in reverse and you have the door open, the horn goes off. I don't know why. It doesn't happen when you have the door closed. It's only when you have the door open and it's in reverse. Riddle me this, people. Let's get this thing off the trailer. Alright, in my short ownership of this thing, I've picked out a few little quirks about it, as we always talk about on this channel. So, I obviously have had 0 time on this thing. Some of the things that I'm pointing out are a little simple. Others are a little more complicated. In essence, what we have here is a 2017...
Psych! That's the wrong number!
KOMATSU PC45 size machine. That puts this in the mini excavator category, so anything under anything under 12,000 pounds is considered a mini excavator, and that's what this is. Right around 11,000, maybe 11,500 pounds. It has a 2-foot bucket on it, and for my purposes, using it around the ranch here, it's too small. It's not going to be something that I can really make much use out of. However, I mentioned a couple projects, and let me take you through those before I take you through the machine. Basically, what I would like to do here, if it doesn't sell before I get to it, this Schedule 40 pipe, that runs out to just drain in my grass area out there, and it's above ground. That ain't gonna cut it for me. So what I'm gonna do is where it transitions, where this, I don't know if I mentioned, but this is to my sump pump. So where this transitions from the 1.5 or 2-inch pipe to the 4-inch or whatever it is, I am going to 90 down, cut a trench in to the ground here, and run her out to the creek. Just throw some 1s and 2s into the creek so it doesn't have any erosion issues. Bury it 2 foot, you know, nothing special. Again, this is temporary with this house here. I just want to get it underground so I don't have to cut around it and trip over it. And it's so stupid how they did this. Just lazy. So that is step number 1. This machine is going to be perfect for that job. It's only like, I don't know, 40 foot of pipe, a little bit of stone, 2-foot bucket. It's going to be perfect. Second thing I want to do, and this is going to be a little more work for this machine, but it's not going to be bad. Basically, what I would like to do in the future is from this tree here on over to about that tree right there, I want to cut a opening in this brush and tree area that covers the creek. I want to open it up, put a little walking bridge over to where like my chicken and duck coop is going to be. And I think this machine will handle that just fine. I just want to open it up. I just want to strip that topsoil mounding back, get the brush cleared out. Honestly, I might just flip the topsoil right over and line the edges of my house with it, because I do kind of pitch towards the house as it is, and I'd like to have a little more elevation there so any water that's missing the gutters drains away from the house and not into my basement. That's what I want to do with this thing. Let's get into the quirks. It has about 2,800 hours on it. It is relatively clean. Quirk number one, just right out of the gate, just talking physical looks other than the paint, is this little canopy. This was obviously cut down and booger welded back together. It sits really low. I'm 5'8" and I got a short torso, and by golly, my head is almost touching that thing. So she's short, but I'm probably not going to do anything with that. Future owner, if they please, you know, if they're a tall human being, they can deal with it if they want to. The cutting blade down here is actually in pretty good shape. Looks like they may have overlaid some weld at one point just to beef it up a little bit, maybe. Tracks are in good shape. A whole undercarriage as a whole, being a 2,800 hour machine, you know, great shape, very little wear. So I wasn't worried about that with the hours of the machine, and that hour meter does work. The bucket is in, you know, okay-ish shape. The teeth are kind of unevenly worn, which me putting the bucket in this configuration you can't really see, but it's a little, you know, beaten up. If I were to guess, a machine this size with a canopy that short, I would guess that this thing was probably used primarily for tight spaces, maybe interior demo work or something like that. Surprisingly, the body isn't all that bad as far as dings and dents. Really, the only dent to speak of is this right here, which I'll easily be able to pull that out. The boom's in great shape, unmolested, no patchwork or anything like that from heavy damage. You know, everything looks to be nice and square. It's a good looking machine. It doesn't look like it was abused by any means at all. Getting into the engine compartment. Engine compartment, looks like we have a 4-cylinder Yanmar diesel. One thing I noticed, fuel filter here, this little cap pops off. It's pressurized and I really don't want to take it off, but there's a fuel leak going on there. I got to look into that if I'm missing like an O-ring or a like retainer clip or something right there, but that pops up and I start spewing fuel there. That was honestly the first thing I noticed. I started it up, popped the hood, and it was spewing fuel everywhere, and I looked at the guy and he goes, "What do you want us to do about that?" And I was like, "Nothing. I'm just, you know, just telling you that the leak is there. I'm not looking for money off or anything. It's an as-is machine. I get the game." So that was really the only thing that stuck out to me in the engine bay. The only other thing, I got a pretty heavy leak in this cylinder right here. I mean, it stays steady dripping. That is unfortunate. Unless I have this machine for more than a month, I'm not going to screw around with that. But if I have it for long enough and it's not selling because of the leak, because I'll obviously disclose that, then maybe I will get around to it. That's pretty much it. Like I said, right now it's in standard control, which I am an amateur when it comes to standard controls. I need an excavator to be in John Deere or backhoe style control in order to be, you know, functional at all. I gotta read into that, see if there's a valve anywhere, which I don't see. If there is no valve, you just go down to, like selector valve, you just go down to the valve block where all the hydraulic hoses come into, and you figure out which ones are your boom up and which ones are your stick out, and you just swap the two. Everything else stays the same. So we'll figure that one out. For now, though, I'm going to let this thing sit here for the night. I have to go in and edit. I am behind on editing because of the fiasco last night, and I owe you guys a video tomorrow morning. So I'm going to jump inside and edit. I'll leave this here. For you guys, it'll be right now, but for me, it'll probably be a couple days from now. So I'll see you then. Okay, so I got some ants in my pants, mainly because I want to play around with this thing and I haven't been able to yet because of the controls. It's the next day, by the way. This is the valve block here that runs all the hydraulics. Essentially, on any excavator, your hand controls are going to be 4 different hoses on each side of the block. So you have 2 hoses per function, essentially. So if you're curling, you have 1 hose for curl in and 1 hose for curl out, and you know, etc. Because there's 4 functions. You have your stick, you have your boom, you have your curl, and you have your swing. So that's 8 total. Those functions are controlled by these 4 places on either side of the body here. What I'm looking to do is change the control from standard function or cat controls to John Deere controls or backhoe controls, whatever you want to call it. That's just what I'm used to. Ask any operator to be ambidextrous with controls. There are very few out there that can be productive, we'll say, on either or. Most people prefer one or the other. Usually on newer excavators, there's a control valve where you basically just flip a lever. Those are really convenient. Usually for Komatsu, it's like a little door down here and it's just like a red handle and you flip it. This excavator here, I was doing some digging. This is not a 2017. The thing that threw me off was the fact that it did not have that lever that I'm talking about, because all of the new Komatsus have that function, have that, you know, where you don't have to swap around hoses. This is an old-fashioned thing to do, swapping around hydraulic lines in order to change your control. So this does not have that lever. That threw me off. I started looking around here. This was listed as a 2017 model, and I'm not going to fault them for that. Basically, when you look down here on the serial tag, it says PC45MR1 and then serial number 2017, and manufacturer year is blank, stamped in to the machine itself as a 2017. So it's pretty apparent that this is a 2017 model. The first thing that threw me off, I was back here looking at the engine, which I'm still leaking right here. I did look this part up. This whole filter assembly is $30 on eBay, so definitely going to order one of those. This Yanmar engine is from 2021. I don't know if I pointed that out before. Then I did a quick Google search and figured out that the PC45MR1 model is from like 1996 to... It's listed as 98. Maybe they made the MR1 model a little bit longer overseas than they did in the States. I don't know, but I guess looking back at the footage, I never took a minute to explain that I'm assuming that this machine is what's called gray iron or gray market, where dealers or auction houses will ship in equipment, import in equipment from overseas, and they typically come in a different color scheme, like this one, like green, purple, or whatever. And you can get into different oddities with them where they're not made exactly the same or with the same components as a domestic machine. So with that being said, they typically go for a little bit cheaper, which is basically reflected in the price that I bought this machine for. So anyway, gray market. If you didn't know, now you know, but that's why I referenced here saying that maybe they made this model for a little bit longer overseas. That's my guess anyway. All in all, what I'm saying is nothing makes sense. This is definitely not a 2017 though. The PC45 in 2017 is like the MR8 model or something like that. Definitely not a 17, probably more like a 2001. That's what I'm going to call it, as a 2001. Anyway, that is a long-winded way of me saying that I need to figure out which lines run what control. Couldn't find anything on the lines, so my next step was just to say, screw it, I'm going to come out here and just start swapping lines. I know that these 4 on either side are my hand control, my pilot control functions, so I'm just going to swap them, make note of what they are, and process of elimination should be able to get there pretty quick. What I found, I've already been working out here for a little while. This top hose is my swing function. That does not need to change. The second hose down I believe is my curl function. The third place down is my stick, and the fourth is my boom, I believe. So I think I got it right this time. I am going to do one more swap and see what happens. In order to do that, fun little trick if you're ever working on hydraulic lines, come up to the tank, run a shop vac, tight fitting. I kind of taped a piece of plastic on here that would fit in here nice and snug. Flip your vacuum on, it'll create negative pressure and you won't get a bunch of fluid dumping out of your hoses. You'll get some drips, but it's going to be manageable. That is the best tip that I'll give you for the day. That'll save you a lot of wasted fluid and a lot of mess. Anyway, I'm gonna do my last swap here. Hopefully I get it, and we'll do one more test. If it's all correct, I'm gonna start getting to work on moving topsoil. The trouble with trial and error is I literally tried the last configuration that was possible. All right, let's see if I got this right. This should be my boom up. Ah, stick forward. No. Come on. Jeez. All right. Boom up. Boom down. Curl. Curl out. Stick in. Slow. Hydraulic pressure's got to catch up. Stick out. Woo! Now we are running. I got to get my hydraulic lines full again. I'm just going to run it through the functions. And then we'll be set to mess around with this thing a little bit. I'm going to clean up here, and then before the sun goes down, I want to get some brush cleared. Man. All right, we'll fire this thing up. Basically what I'm shooting for is in between that tree right there and that tree right there. Clear an opening. This is going to be a lot of brush and dirt for this machine to move. That's why I want something bigger. But I should be able to get this thing done with this for now. To at least, you know, open it up and start the process. Just to play with the sticks a little bit. So let's jump in the cab, fire it up, see how she does. Going pretty well, not doing too bad. I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. I'm starting to get a hang of kind of progression, but the brush goes all the way down into the creek, so I'm trying to peel up all the brush. I'm gonna drag it out, and I think I'm gonna pile it here for now. Lady, come here. Hopefully not scoop up my dog who's running around in the creek right now. So I'm gonna peel out the brush, drag it this way, and then we're gonna level out the topsoil because there is a bit of a mounding. I don't know if you could see that or not. So let me get back to work. Well, it was fun while it lasted. I blew a hydraulic line. I heard a pop, and that's why I actually got out of the cab and popped the hood. It felt like it happened behind me, but I didn't know if something was just shifting into place with the tracks or something. And then after talking to you, I went to start operating again. No hydraulics, and it's all gone at this point. I mean, I would have loved to save it, but it was coming out everywhere because it's actually underneath the house, kind of the operator's chair area. From what I can tell, you know, I got oil dripping out there, and then it's actually, I think the machine is pitched this way. Sorry, I don't have a lot of room right here. It's pitched this way. So first thing I noticed was coming around here, it's spraying out there, and it's actually dripping all the way back to my final drive. To start with, I think I'm going to get this mat up, take this inspection plate off, flip it up and see what lines I can see, and hopefully I see a blown hydraulic line, and that's as far as we need to take it. Oh, here's what we're doing though. Here's the creek. I'm standing on about 3 foot of topsoil. So what I'd like to do here is clear out all this brush and then strip out this topsoil, you know, just to level with my existing ground over here. That way I can get everything draining to the creek, and then we got to jump over there. That side looks a lot more intimidating than this side is. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to leave this one here, and this is actually going to turn into a project and not just a fun project. Dang it. Well, I picked up my hydraulic line today. NAPA let me down, so I had to go to my local Parker store, Triad. They had the right fittings and straights. They did not have 90s, so I made the hose a little bit long, which I think I went a little bit too long, but that's all right. I'd rather be too long than too short. So I'm just gonna get this buttoned up here. We're gonna fill this back up with fluid. Hopefully we're gonna be back in business here shortly. Yeah, there's no way that's gonna do it. I thought I had another can. Well, it's not like I have enough time to really do anything anyway today. So I'll come back tomorrow and finish filling this puppy up. We got 2 little treasures so far. I did work on opening up the creek a little bit in the dark the other night, and it's coming along. I'm starting a brush pile that I'm eventually gonna pick up and use my dump truck to dump it over there. Looks like we got a concrete grade ring there. Maybe do a little manhole or something, and then a little basketball. So I'm gonna continue on with this process. I think I'm about as far as I'm wanting to go with brush on this side for now. I think in the future I want to keep clearing down that way, but maybe just leave it for a bigger machine for now, because I got quite the undertaking across the river here. I think for now I'm going to start working on grading out this topsoil. I'll probably throw it on the edge of my house there, I think I mentioned, just to build up the elevation a little bit. But back to work. She's friendly. Okay, so obviously now you can see what we're doing here. I know it's not the cleanest stuff in the world, but I'm gonna rake it out, make it look as nice as I can, and that's just gonna be the end of that. And same with this over here. It's cleaned up pretty good. This is all we're gonna do for now. I probably won't even bother raking this because this is all gonna get, you know, cleared further and cleaned up more. But I'm just, you know, I want to get an opening going so I can start getting over to the other side. You could see my boom right there. I actually did poke through a little bit last night. So let's run over to the other side and I'm gonna get back to work over there. Honestly, that machine kind of impressed me. It really wasn't doing that bad last night, so I'll show you how far I got. Sunsets are killer out here. So here's what we got. I did a lot of this in the dark, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. I was just taking big scoops and, you know, dumping it over here. So here's my pile of where we're sitting at right now, and we've got an opening. This machine is definitely far too small for the job at hand, but I want to get an opening here. I want to be able to clear out the brush just to be able to throw a little walking bridge down. And then once I have a bigger machine, which fingers crossed, I'm actually talking to my boss at the moment about buying something off of him. I don't know if it's going to be in the budget, but we're going to try. If I do get that machine here, that will be killer. But I don't know if it's in the cards for me, but we'll see. For now, I'm gonna finish cleaning up this opening. I might make it a little bit wider to that direction, but we'll see how far we get. Tonight, I want to have this cleared. That's the goal. So let's jump in the operator's chair and chip away with what we can. Definitely pulling a lot more garbage out of this side. Finding a little bit of HDP pipe tucked away in there. There was a old car seat in there. Lots of garbage. I think right at the end of my night, I was hitting a big piece of concrete or something. Yeah, here it is. So, yeah, chip away, see how far we get. But hopefully I get this cleared out tonight because I got a lot to do this weekend. Teaching J-Rod how to operate. Cheap labor. What did we find? A light? Oh, that came from this.
Did I knock that off?
No, it was barely on there. I don't even know how. What's that? Yeah. Another day, another broken line, it seems. This thing's really spewing, but I don't know where from. After further review, I may have gotten lucky. It's actually leaking right here from this fitting, so it might be loose. All I got with me right now is a vice grip. Will it turn? Yep, I might just be loose. Okay, you're looking for a leak right here. Ready? Here's where it should come. I think I got lucky. That's all that was. Always fires up like you put her away yesterday. More reliable. Well, I think that is going to do it for this one. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this to go the way it did. I wasn't expecting to get all this done in this video. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at the footage yet, and this has been multiple days of work. Let's see, as far as dirt moved, I had 3 full truckloads, and that is a 5-yard box, so somewhere around 15 on that side. The brush is still sitting over there. This side, I mean, this dirt is probably 10 or 12 foot high, and she's wide. She's probably, I'd say, at least a good 20 foot wide. So actually, let's do some math. Yeah, that's 60 yards. So 60 yards moved on this side and a solid 15 yards moved over there. I'm definitely impressed with, you know, what this thing muscled through. Wasn't the zippiest thing in the world, but it moved. I mean, it moved the dirt. So very impressive. All in all, happy with it. But now I gotta get rid of this thing. You know, the sole purpose of me buying this machine was it was a good deal. And I was hoping to flip it for a little bit of profit and, you know, use it for exactly what I did use it for. But can't afford to keep it, and quite honestly, it is not the type of machine that I need on this property. I need something much, much bigger because we have a lot more topsoil to move. I'm definitely happy with what I got out of this work as well. I mean, this was just so overgrown and in such poor shape. I'd like to do more here too, but that thing only has so much reach, you know, so. And then over here, I finally have an opening where, you know, I'm on the hunt for some sort of bridge. I had the idea to actually cut up that trailer that I have and use the deck from that for a temporary bridge, but if you noticed in the past, it's broken, it's kinked. And the longest point of solid structure that I have is 22 foot. And in order to have a safe clearing here, I think I need at least 25, but you know, the more the merrier, because obviously the more that you have sitting on solid ground, the better. But I'm on the hunt for a bridge. Anyway, very impressed with the machine. Happy that I bought it. Time to sell it. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage that you got. Just kind of me playing around, you know. There really wasn't much point to this video other than just a little bit of work. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please, if you did, do me a favor, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. We're coming out with videos. We got a lot going on, a lot of projects around here, a lot of equipment that we're bringing in, and cars as well. So there's tons to do around here. So with that, I will see you all in the next one. But always remember, don't be afraid to grab that wrench, get after yourself. We'll see you next time. All right, so how about that trailer? Well, I picked this black one up. It's a 15,000 pound Kaufman 2018, and I had to sell one or the other, so I sold the other. So I listed both, the gray one and the black one obviously being more expensive than the gray one. And in my mind, I was telling me, hey, if I can at least get my money back on the gray one and make a little bit of money, then I'll be able to justify keeping this black one. So that's what I did. I listed both. A couple people hit me up about both trailers. One guy came and looked at this black one. I hadn't heard back from him yet. And another guy jumped on the gray one, bought it, and that's what I thought was the end of the story. Unfortunately, that was not the end of the story. He was an out-of-town guy, assured me that it wasn't a scam, of course. You know, he's from the Cleveland area, but he just moved away. Moved down south, and he needs to get his motorcycles back down to where he's living now. So he's hiring a friend of his, to buy the trailer off of me, load up his motorcycles, and haul them down, you know, down south where he's living. So I arranged with the guy that is buying the trailer, or paying for the trailer rather. I arranged a time to just drop the trailer off at his place because he's right around the corner from me. He's got kids, you know how the story goes, yada yada. So I load up the trailer, I drop it off, the guy shows up and he goes, "This is an open trailer." And I said, "Yeah." He He goes, I thought he was looking for an enclosed trailer. No, he said he wanted an equipment trailer because after he's done hauling the bikes down, he, wants to use it for other things, hauling his loader or whatever. He's like, all right, I want to call and make sure. I'm like, that's fine. So he calls up the guy and, hey, I just want to make sure this is exactly what you're looking for, blah, blah, blah. He goes, there's holes all over the fenders, which I disclosed in the listing. It's, rusty. He goes, yep, perfect for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm all good. I'm like, okay, there you go, sold. Write the bill of sale. Here's the problem. Now they have my address because of the bill of sale. So fast forward about a week, last night, and I get a call from this guy, and he goes, hey, we got a real problem. I'm like, what's the problem? You sold me a piece of, the boards are all flipped over, which, yeah, they were chipped up and stuff on the other side, so I flipped them over to the side where they're not chipped up. It's not like they're rotting away or anything, they're solid boards. It's all rusty underneath. I'm like, I disclosed in the listing, I said that it was rusty. And so this guy's getting, crappy with me now. And he's like, I want to bring the trailer back and give you my money back. This is Facebook Marketplace. I'm not a dealership, I sold it to you in good working order, which it is. You're paying for what you get. I disclosed that it's rusty. That's why it was a little bit on the cheaper side. But it's perfectly functional, brakes work, everything works, it's solid. I've hauled things plenty of times, as you guys know. I haul with that trailer all the time, never had an issue. Now he's getting frustrated with me, and he's claiming that he's in a notorious biker gang, and that if I don't take it back, he's gonna send somebody out to deal with it. I don't know if this is me being stupid or what, but at this point I'm calling his bluff and I'm saying, my answer is no, I'm not taking it back. I sold it to you, disclosing exactly what it is. It's a perfectly usable trailer, there's nothing wrong with it. You're gonna be happy with it. So, no, you're keeping it. I'm not taking it back, I already spent that money. He basically gives me one more chance. He says, if you don't give my money back, we bring this trailer back right now, it's gonna be out of my hands at that point. I'm gonna make a call and that's it. And I said, I'm not taking it back. And he said some words to me that aren't appropriate for the channel and hung up the phone. So, I don't know, I don't get it. I mean, I don't think I'm in the wrong here. It's a perfectly good trailer. There's nothing wrong with it. So, and quite frankly, I'm a little offended because I really liked that trailer. And I got a lot of good use out of that thing. And, it's got a lot of good story to it for me. And, I let it go to be able to afford something else, and now somebody's complaining about it. Just rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, I called the police. It took them an hour to show up. Thanks guys. But obviously, given the circumstances, there's not a clear-cut threat at this point, and nobody showed up. So, I can't expect the police to stay at my house and whatever. So I just sat there with my shotgun and hunkered down, closed all my blinds, locked my doors, and hoped for the best. I hid this truck and trailer in the back just kind of out of sight because I figured if somebody did show up, this would probably be the first thing that they go after, given the circumstance of what the disagreement is about. But regardless, no one showed up. I was supposed to be editing all night, but I was a little bit on edge, so yeah, it kind of sucked. I kind of blew a night. I should probably add that just because somebody says that they are in the Hells Angels doesn't mean that they actually are. And that's kind of the way I feel about this situation. No disrespect. Also, if you are a Hells Angel and you're watching this, don't come after me. I'm just a regular guy, just trying to live his life. I mean no harm. And I'm not talking down about anybody. I'm just saying I have my doubts about this particular guy, and honestly, if he isn't, I am sorry that you have to deal with people like that.